Okay, today we are going to change the transmission fluid on this 1996 Toyota Land Cruiser. So the process in order to flush the transmission, what I read up and many people have done it that way, would be to disconnect this return line from transmission cooler radiator going back to transmission, install the clear hose to it, drain the pan of the transmission. Actually, I'm planning not just to drain it, but take it down, replace the filter, and then by refilling it in the dipstick, through the dipstick, and running the engine short period of time, we will run all the fluid out of the torque converter and the remaining fluids from the transmission into the bucket, refilling it at the same time. Anyway, the video will show the process. Hopefully it will be successful. But in the meantime, let me run it by for the viewers who've been following the progress of updating, not so much updating, but basically baselining this vehicle. When I purchased it, it was fairly in good shape. All the hoses looked to be pretty fresh. So far, the things that I've done was I put 35-inch tires from the Hummer, and these tires, I probably put about 10,000 miles on the Hummer on them, and over close to 6,000 miles on the Toyota now. They still have quite a bit of tread left. Total right now there's about 15,000 miles on them, and I'm figuring I probably can put another 25. We'll see. I'm pretty sure I didn't do the video when I was installing them on the Land Cruiser, but we mounted the tires ourselves and balanced them with the BBs. I've seen since then some people balancing them with the golf balls. So yeah, balancing them with BBs has provided a very smooth ride. There's no any kind of vibration, and it works pretty well. Another thing that we have since I bought the vehicle, installed this snorkel, and that has been trouble-free for now. It's put on pretty solid, and like I said in the video, installing it, even though it's a Chinese knockoff, it's so far, I mean, of course it's been a short time, but it's held up pretty well. Another thing that I had to look into was I got that check engine light on, and by reading the code, it turned out to be the oxygen sensor. I ended up taking it down, cleaning it. So far, the code hasn't come back. And by the way, what I'm using to read the code is this ultra gauge, just a little device that connects straight to the code reader, or however you call it, and besides calculating, getting the information from the vehicle computer on things like mileage, and it calculates the speed, corrects it for the tire. There is a way to calibrate it and so forth. It's been really useful. I would recommend it to anybody. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, we're actually going to change the fluid on the transfer case also. And I guess in order to get to the drain plug, we'll have to remove the skid plate. This is what we're using to replace the transfer case fluid. It's a manual transmission and transaxle
gear lube 75 to 80 by AMSOIL, and for the transmission it's automatic transmission fluid that was recommended by the AMSOIL spreadsheet. It looks like some work has been done on the transfer case because there's fresh gaskets there. I don't know what was done. It was by the previous owner or whoever he contracted it to, and I don't have any plans to take it apart and see. It's been shifting fine, it's been working just fine, but I'm not sure how when was the last time those fluids were changed, so I figured I'll just change it all, and at least I'll know that the time it was changed and how long I can go before it needs to be replaced.
I want to hold it.
I will.
Alright, we ran into a little difficulty with the skid plate. There's two flat bolts that holding it up. Seems to be rusted pretty good, so we sprayed some penetrating oil, and while it's going to do its magic, we're going to work on the pan, on the transmission, drain it, remove the pan, and replace the filter. Draining transmission is pretty straightforward. There's a drain, and then there's a bunch of little bolts all around that you'll have to loosen to drop the pan. The fluid is in pretty good shape. It's pretty clear, but like I said, I'm not sure when it was changed by the previous owner, so I figured I'll just change it once, and then my plan is every 25,000 I'm not going to change transmission fluid anymore. I'll just drain it and I'll refill it. I think it drains about 4 quarts at the time, and I figured if I do it every 25,000 miles, that should be good enough until it's time to rebuild the transmission. Alright, after about half an hour we were not able to take down skid plate from the transfer case. There's a couple of bolts there by passenger side. The exhaust pipe goes right between them, so they are basically rust welded and heat welded there. So we'll have to come back some other night and force that one out. Just kind of running out of time, so we're not going to replace the transfer case fluid today. Yeah, this too, that's what I was talking about. Actually, the Allen wrench socket broke off on one of them trying to unscrew it. So there is a total of 5 of them, and 3 of them came out. 1 over here, 2 over here, but those 2 just didn't want to budge this time around. Well, we'll figure out the way to take them down, even if we have to drill them down, but we don't have replacements right now, so we'll have to be postponed for a different day. Alright, we drained 1 gallon of fluid out of going the return line from the transmission cooler. Now we're going to put 2 gallons through the dipstick with a rigged up a little hose with a funnel, and then start to drain another gallon and that will be a total of 8 quarts drained. Replace it with the remainder. Plan is the AMSOIL comes in 10 quart jug, and that's where we're going to put it in, and that's where we're going to try to drain and get to the proper level. It's a slow process. Alright, everything is back together. We checked the level. I ran about 20 miles on the highway, and the hot level is good. So basically I end up using 10 quarts of fluid, flushing it through, and the plan is going to be, like I said before, every 25,000 miles I'll just drain the pan, add about 4 quarts. I think that's about the amount that is drained from the pan. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.